In this video, we're back on course. We're gonna help you break 90, show you what that golf looks like in your own game. Hey everybody, Scott Hogan coming at you. We're here at the beautiful Inwood Golf Course. We're gonna play the 15th hole out here. And this is a pretty typical kind of struggle hole, I find, for kind of your 18, 20 handicaps or higher, because they have a strategy that doesn't fit what their score goals are trying to do, and quite honestly, what their skill set is. So a lot of people come to me and they start working on, hey, I want to shoot lower scores. I want to just be an 80s golfer. I want to be a bogey golfer. And I say, okay, that's great. What do you think it's going to take to be able to do that? And they're like, oh, I got to hit my drives farther and I got to hit it in the fairway more. Okay, that's true. You got to get the ball and play more, but does it really have to be farther? I don't know. Let's see what happens as we play a hole here. We're going to try and do our best to mimic it. Now, I'm not at full speed, coming off some injuries. I think the best I can do right now is probably hit a drive 210 yards maybe. So that's why I figured it'd be a good time to do this, because that's typically where we're at in terms of yardages and things like that, where people say, oh, I'm never going to be able to break 90 at that level. Well, let's give it a shot and let's see what we get. This hole here, 400 yards. We went all the way to the back tee. Again, if you're somebody trying to break 90, I don't think you need to be at the back tee, but I wanted to give the hole some more length so you can see how much length would affect what's going on. The biggest thing that we have to look at is our strategy. You have to have a strategy before you go. I think a lot of people get on a tee box and they think, oh, the strategy's hit the fairway. And it's like, well, yeah, obviously, we'd love to do that. But this club, that's hard to do. Look at how many fairways are hit on the PGA Tour. It's not that many, and it's going down because everybody's trying to hit it so far. So hitting the fairway isn't the main goal. It's get the ball to a position where you can play from. So this hole, hard dog leg left. I've taken my laser out. It is 210 yards to the first tree on the left. It's 275 yards to the tree on the right. So this driver, I mean, again, at the speed I'm swinging it, it is not going to get past the trees on the left. I'm not going to get by it. So I need to stay away from those. I need to get to the right side so I have an angle to play in from. Now, the good news is that works well on this hole, and the pin's in the back left. So I can start thinking about where I'm going to play from, and that's it. So I'm going to make a swing and be able to direct my ball somewhere to the right. Hopefully not too far right, but I'm thinking that's where I want to be, and we'll see what the shot is. I might have to lay up because there's a creek. That would be okay, but let's see what we got. Okay, little tailer to the right. Just short of that tree. Kind of the typical shot that I see people hit when they're playing. Gonna leave themselves a decision. Let's go do it. All right, so we're hanging out here in our drive. I hit it, I've got 200 yards left. Again, I don't have a lot of speed right now, so we're not hitting it very far. We are going to think about our strategy here. This is, again, where people are trying to break 90, trying to break 100. On a hole like this, you run into issues where people make big numbers. And the biggest thing I think that when I talk with them is they think, okay, I've got to go green and reg. I've got to get the ball close to the green and reg. First off, that's a tour stat, and it's a tour stat they don't even use anymore. Tour players really aren't that concerned about hitting greens. They're worried more about how close they are to the hole overall. But we need to think about what our green and reg is, or how close do we want to be to the hole. So from here, if you're going to be truly a break 90 player, my thought here is, with all of that trouble up there, I could try and blast it over, but again, without having a lot of room for air right now, I'd have to smoke a 3-wood, hit it absolutely perfect, and hope that it flies out of this rough well. That's a lot to ask for to go perfectly, and I don't know if it's going to happen. So what I'd rather do is take a shot that's going to give me a lot of forgiveness, and then I'll go to work with my wedge and see what I can do. So what I'm going to do is just punch one up there. I've got a 5-iron, and I see a lot of people do this too on layup shots. I can just punch this thing. So I'm gonna take a lot of club and just make like a big chip swing, as opposed to taking like a 9-iron and making a full swing, where it would increase my probability of mishitting the shot. I'm just gonna take the easy way and punch the ball up there, okay? Now, one thing I'm gonna think about is I do wanna think about my third shot. The next shot is gonna be that's gonna be a critical shot that we have to do well on. So the pin's way on the left. I'm gonna try to get it a little bit on the right so I can have a shot in and be able to put the ball on the green, okay? That's when we start looking at, all right, can I get the ball on the green? But that's on the next shot. So right here, there's a sodded area in the fairway there on the right half. I'm gonna try to hit this. We're about 210, 220 yards. I'm trying to hit this 130, 140, that's all. Okay, down the right side, bouncing down, should be well short of the hazard. It's on the right side, maybe a touch right where it got in the rough, but that's okay. We're not playing the most penalizing golf course in the world, so that's not the biggest concern for me. As long as the only thing I see again is if I took more club, there's trees and stuff up there. Even if I hit good contact, I'd have to get the ball straight. I mean, I'd have to hit it really, really straight. I don't want to have to rely on that. That's too much pressure, it's too hard to do, and quite honestly, there's too much that can go wrong, and you're not gonna have a good shot most of the time, and it's gonna lead to big, big numbers. All right, so we're here at our layup shot. Again, did a pretty good job. I don't actually mind being in the rough. If you're playing a golf course that doesn't have super penalizing rough, you're okay to get it over here into the safer side if you do that. Now, if you're playing a golf course that has more penalizing rough, you'd have to think about that. Right now, we're doing pretty good. It looks like they just mowed it. Now, I've got a great angle into the hole, but the number one thing we have to think about, this is the shot that counts. This is the shot from here on out. We really have to do some good things, okay? We have to be able to put the ball on the green from this distance. This is 90 yards to the pin, but we also have to think very smart from these spots. So if I'm looking up there, that pin is way in the back. It's also on the left. I don't want to go all the way back there. It's 90 yards to the pin. So my goal is I want to fly this about 85. If it releases out of the rough, that's fine. Coming out of the rough, if I land by the pin, there's a good chance I bounce over. I'm short-sighted, we got problems, okay? So you gotta think about your strategy from this point on, okay? Now, from up there, I just wanna be a little right, because again, there's a lot more room to the right than there is to the left. And my goal here is, 15, 20 footer. Big thing is get your yardage and then plan from there, where is the safest side of the green? Where is the safest side of the green? So, I've got my number. I'm gonna make some swings, get a feel. 80 yards, here we go. Pretty good. It came out of there a little tumbly. Came out a little tumbly, but I wanted to go at that tree to the right. Did a pretty good job. I'm at that tree to the right. Came up a little short. That ball came out of there kind of knuckling and dead. And that goes back to our shot back there. When we're in the rough, we just don't know what's gonna happen sometimes. So having some room for air in your shot is gonna be critical. That ball came out, it kind of nosedived, so it didn't get all the way, I think, where I wanted it to get to, but that's okay. I got a putt for par, 2 putts. I'm gonna be able to do this. All right, so we're up here on the green. This ball actually released out a little bit more than I thought. The ball mark hit back there. Probably rolled a good 15 feet, 20 feet. So again, that's something you have to think about when you're playing golf. Everybody's trying to be perfect, but if I landed back by that pin, I'm over the green, super tough chip, double, triple, quad comes into play. That's what it's all about. So, way you have it though, playing smart, playing really good, sound fundamental golf. Where we are, 15 feet for par, putting up the hill. I mean, I got a good look at it. We'll see what he can do. So, ball's gonna break a little to the left. So there we go. That's a 5 on that hole. Hey, we're off to a good start. That's one of the harder holes on the course. We're able to play that, very little risk, easy tap in bogey. We're ready to roll. All right, so that's bogey golf right there. Now, let's talk about how does that work for other holes. People say, oh, well, that's bogey golf. I'm gonna shoot 90. I wanna break 90. Well, let's think about what's gonna happen when you go through a round of golf. That was one of the tougher holes that we would play on this golf course. What we can do though is, on some certain holes, you're gonna find yourself in a position where, you know, hey, maybe I'm 130 yards away and there's no real trouble up there. I can take a go at the green. And if you don't hit the green, you're right next to it, you're able to putt, you're able to chip, you're able to do certain things that will bring that score down a little bit, but it's not gonna be anything spectacular that does it. That's kind of the key as we go through this. The spectacular isn't what's going to take you through and get you to your goal. It's going to be the ability to do the really simple things. So let's think about the skills we needed to play that golf hole. One, we needed the ability just to make somewhat decent contact on the golf ball, hitting somewhere near the center of the face. We go back to the drive. That's what happened. By no means my best, by no means the most accurate. That ball was right of the fairway, not very long, but it was accurate enough. That is the second skill. Are you accurate enough to have some control? Can you control the face? Doesn't matter what your swing looks like, it's about how you control the club face. Can I start the ball somewhat on line? Can I start the ball somewhat in the expected direction? If you have a launch monitor, Mevo Plus, you have that number available to you. SkyTrack, you have that number available to you. GC2, you have that number available to you. I'd be looking at that all the time. Where is the ball starting relative to my start line? If it curves a little bit one way or the other, for right now, that's okay. You're gonna see that shrink a little bit as you get the start line a little bit more close to center. Where people struggle is they hit these shots that start way offline and they go further offline. If you start it online and it goes a little offline, that's fine, but when you start it and get the double whammy, ball starts left, goes way left, now we got problems. Starts right, goes right, now we got problems. So getting that club face control, that's a skill. And then the last one is, it's all about, can you do these things from a short shot? Now everybody will say, oh, well, that's a wedge, that's a wedge. Can you do what we just did with a wedge? Out of all the different lies, I did not have the greatest lie in the rough over there, but being able to dig the ball out, get some contact from any lie with a wedge to put it on the green. Doesn't have to be close. Again, that one worked out way better than I even expected, but you just have to get it on the green, and then you got to be able to lag a putt close. Got to be able to have a ball stop, have some easy tap-ins. There you go. You're going to get your bogeys on a consistent basis, and then you know what's going to happen? You're going to start making a 10 or 12 footer once in a while. There's a par. You're going to start hitting one that, hey, on an easier hole, I've got a chance, I've got it on the green. I'm 100 yards away. Yeah, I got this ability. I can get that ball in the green. Then when you get your driver in your hand, you know what? I'm getting better contact. I'm getting the face more square. That ball's starting to go straighter, which means it goes farther. Now I'm able to reach more things. All of these little things start adding up, and now all of a sudden, hey, we're mid-80s, we're low 80s, we're into the 70s. It's not a magical process that gets us there. The guys on the tour, their process, the Bryson DeChambeaus of the world, they're looking for that quarter of a shot, that half shot that's going to separate them from the field. Everybody is good at this stuff, so they need those special things to differentiate themselves. Here, we don't need that. We need to do those basics, and hopefully this helped you out. So yeah, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully this helped you out. One of those things, you know, people, oh, I want to shoot lower scores. I want to be an 80s player. Well, let's start thinking about the skills you need. What does it look like to be somebody that shoots in the 80s? What does that golf look like? And then take it back, take it to your technology, start working on those skills. Work on a wedge range, work on your start line, all of that stuff. That's going to help you. Don't worry about, hey, my driver, I'm losing 30 yards on my driver. I mean, I've lost 70 yards on my driver from what I was doing, and I was able to get the ball to the green in 3, 2 putt it. you know, it can be done. So it's all of those skills that you need to be able to do, all right? So try this out. Hopefully this helps you with some strategy and hopefully help you shoot lower scores. Thanks everybody for watching. Click that subscribe button if you're not a subscriber already, and we will see you out here on the course and back in the studio some more. Peace.